you.
Hey guys, vegan cyclists, this is the breakdown of the Dinuba crit. There's only 11 guys in this race, and 5 of them were from Cortex. Cortex is probably one of the top, 10 best teams in California, maybe even the top 5. And the guys they have here all can win races at the highest level. So we're pretty outnumbered here. Randy Bramlett, he won the actual point series for NCNCA last year, and then the guy who finished second is also on his team. So these guys, Cortex guys, are definitely gonna make us suffer. We flip to the camera on my teammate Ryan, and he's chasing down Randy. Now here's the thing, guaranteed there's gonna be a break that laps the field. It's just how it's gonna work, because Cortex has so many guys that once a break has one of them in it, they're gonna let it go. So we definitely have to have one of our guys in that. Right here, Tony Wolf makes the bridge to my teammate Ryan, and pretty much that's that, right? So I'm not chasing. The other Cortex guys aren't chasing. So now it's forcing the guys who aren't in that break to start chasing. So then this dude starts smashing, really trying to make it, but I can't let him just roll up there, right? And all the Cortex guys aren't going to let me go. So we're just kind of basically, however fast this guy wants to go, we're going to go, but no one's going to come around him. No one's going to help him, because we've got, I've got a teammate up the road. Cortex has a teammate up the road. And Cortex rode this race really, really good. And so we flick over here to my teammate, and him and Tony are not working that well together. Now see, Tony has teammates, he has options, so he can kind of mess with my teammate. He can pull through really hard, he can kind of attack him a little bit. So this guy is really wanting to make sure he can get up there, because basically if he lets them go, his race is over within the first lap of the race, right? $45 down the drain. This Sean Bagley, he's a state champion, a past state champion. He's on the front, kind of starting to soft pedal, and there's really only 3 other guys in the race that have any interest in doing anything, right? There's this junior kid who's 18 feet tall, the guy in the red, and then there's a guy that's black and green, and then there's a guy from Global, but he was just on the back the whole time because he had raced earlier. So my job is to mark all these moves. I can't let them ride away without me in it, right? I want to make sure that the breakaway succeeds. Flip back here to my buddy Ryan, my teammate Ryan, him and Tony, they're up the road. So then I feel bad, but I told this guy, I was like, hey, you know what, go ahead, because we were getting close to catching the break. So I was like, why don't you go up there and help them? And so he really, just after drilling it, gets off the front and starts drilling it even more. So this dude's super in the red. Sean doesn't want that to happen, right? Because he doesn't want, Tony right now, who's in the break with my teammate, is got a pretty good shot at winning this. He's probably gonna outsprint my teammate, so he doesn't want anyone else to mess that up. So Sean goes to the front and just puts down the power to bring back that guy that I actually told him, I was like, go ahead, dude, we won't chase you. And then I didn't chase, but but Sean did. So right here we come up, and right when we catch him, that junior kid and then this other guy, they know that the race is over if they can't bring those 2 guys up the road back. And so then this flicks that other guy in the red, which I felt super bad about, but whatever. So we're strung out here, and we are, the first little bit of this race was insane. Cortex did amazing, because basically they didn't ride 5 guys. They rode 1 guy that was 5 times as strong. And that's just really difficult to do anything against. Cortex is not gonna let me get up there because my teammate's up there. So they don't want 2-on-1 situation. So I go to the front and I kind of start to try to slow down the pace a little bit, because we're getting pretty close to catching him. And so every time I'd kind of slow down the pace or try to let like the brake get some room, you know, you got one of these guys going. Now, like, watch here. This guy in front, this Cortex guy right there, he doesn't have to chase that because that's his teammate. So if his teammate and that other junior kid get up the road, that's fine because now they have a 2-on-1 situation. So I have to bring this back. I gotta go, man. I gotta try to be there because I don't want two Cortex guys racing against my teammate. So I basically had to just like chase everything that I possibly could. Like it was just all the time, like all these attacks, like, right? So as soon as something slows down, another Cortex guy goes, and again, that's like this one person that is all blue, right? Like the team was riding as this one guy that's 5 times as strong. It was super, super difficult. I did my best that I possibly could, but every time a guy goes, you have a Cortex guy on that move. So that if I don't chase it, they're going to get another 2 guys to go up the road. Again, here's like I almost just hit like 1200 watts right there for like the freaking 20th time in, 20 minutes. Really trying to just watch all these attacks. It's just attack after attack after attack. It was very, very difficult. So I'm trying to follow wheels, but like you've got these other Cortex guys just kind of sitting on my wheel, and so as soon as I like try to take any sort of break, you've got either this junior kid attacking again or another one of the Cortex, and like so I have to make sure that I'm always on the Cortex guy. I can't be on a guy's wheel that's on a Cortex guy's wheel because they'll just let that gap open up. So I'm trying my best to stay as close to them as I possibly can. This woman in the way. What are you doing? So then again, I mean, it's just the whole race was this 5-headed dragon of Cortex constantly attacking. And so I got to make sure that I'm in the move if a move does go. Car in the middle of the road, awesome, good driving skills there. So I go to the front, and there they go. And so like right here, I've only got like 2 guys behind me, and they're not going to come around. They're not going to help me close this gap. So I have to do everything I can, or this is my race. Like I'm flicked if I don't get back on. We're going to flick back up here to my teammate Ryan, who they start to work a little bit better together, and they're pretty much gone. They're well up the road. I think we were maybe like 20 or 30 minutes into the race, and here again, this is Randy. He's just one of the strongest guys in California for sure. He's such a strong sprinter, crit monster for sure. I'm trying to stick on his wheel. I'm hoping that him and me can go up the road, but that never happened. Again, freaking Stretch Armstrong here, this junior kid, he was super frustrated because he was really trying to get up the road. He spent a ton of energy. But every time anyone would spend any energy, then Cortex would make a decisive move to make that like really hurt, right? So every time Cortex made an effort, it was at the perfect time, and it was because they always had so many fresh guys. Like each one of their guys made maybe 3 or 4 attacks, 5 attacks, which means that myself and that junior kid and the other guy, we all had to make those attacks times 5. This guy in the green, so we have like kind of the junior kid was up the road a little bit, so that guy in the green, he had to go chase that down, or else he's pretty much guaranteed he's sprinting for 5th. It slows down just a little bit, and I kind of catch my breath, and I'm thinking maybe this is cool, but nope, not cool. We're gonna just keep attacking, and so I'm getting extremely tired here. There's just like only so much I can do, right? I can only respond to so many attacks before I crack, and I can't respond to one, because all it takes is one that I don't follow, and it's gonna go away. It's gonna there's not enough guys to chase it down. right here, I hesitated, and I was hoping this junior kid would go, but I hesitated, and so now you basically have Randy and that guy in the green going up the road, and I was hoping this guy would, I think he's on the Hammer Nutrition development team or something. He was going to close it down, but he's also done a ton of work. I did a ton of work. We got really close, like they're right there, right up the road, and we just didn't seal the deal. But again, I think I've made like 20 efforts, something like that, like just so many snaps. So my legs and heart are just smoked. But like right here, this is kind of interesting. Like we're so close, but since we didn't just put the nail in the coffin, they ended up riding away. And so now there's a chase of a Cortex and a guy in green. They're chasing the break. The break is working well. The chase is coming. I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't happen again, right? I'm really hoping that it doesn't, that this doesn't happen again. So now there would be like 3 on one of my teammates. I've already failed, right? Like if that break and the chase come together, then you could see this is back up my teammates, Ryan, and Tony is now attacking my teammate in the break, because he now has a teammate coming to try to hook up with them, that he can attack my teammate and force my teammate to claw back on, because if he doesn't, like that guy Tony, he could just solo away. Crazy. They had so many options. So back here in the pack, and I'm still doing everything I can to try to cover every move that I can. I was just dying at this point. Like we're going 30 miles an hour. That's just very difficult to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. But you can see, I'm like hitting 1,000 watts like every time we do this effort. So here again, I hesitated. I just assumed he was gonna go, but he's not. He's not gonna chase his own teammate. Then I've done it again. All right, I wasn't supposed to let any chase off, and so now what happened is my teammate, 2 Cortex guys and the guy in green, they've merged, and now we have a chase of the junior and the other guy. I'm trying to prevent right now the break from catching the group, so it's just me. I was just on the front for a while there, but then the break catches the group, and now we're a lap down. So there's 2 Cortex guys, my teammate and the guy in green. They've lapped the field, and so now like I've got to make sure that the guys who've lapped us don't get off and run away solo, because they've now got 4 teammates here in the group. So I have to cover these attacks even more, and so I'm hoping that I'm gonna get my teammate on my wheel and I'll help him at least get third. Like if we can get third, that's a fantastic result, like relatively speaking, right? So I'm going back in the pack to try to get my teammate to help him with a lead out, but he was pretty tired from the break because Tony would never like work with him. The Cortex guy would never work with him really, so he's smoked. He's on my wheel now, and I put a lot of energy to bring him up through the pack and try to get onto the Cortex lead out train. So we're here, and this is the last lap, and I'm looking back, and my teammate's like nowhere to be found. Like he's not on my wheel. And so by looking back, I kind of lost the wheel here of the guys in front. But, I'm a lap down. I'm not really sprinting for a good position. I'm trying to work for my teammate. My teammate only needs to beat 1 guy to get third, and that's a pretty good result. He just wasn't feeling good enough to try to go against those guys. So right here, it's just, what am I doing? I'm just going to get out of the way because there's guys racing. So you can see my teammate right there. He is chasing down the guy in green, and he ended up getting around him, and that was that. So we got a guy on the podium that broke up the Cortex total domination of this race. I had fantastic legs for this race. I wish I was the one in the break, but it is what it is. We got Michael David Winery up on the podium for the first time in this year. That's a really big win for us. So guys, thank you so much. Vegan Cyclist, I hope you enjoyed these. Yeah.